morning, children. Today our new lesson is light. So what is light is? Light is a form of energy. It helps in sense of vision. When light falls on an object, some of the light is reflected back to our eyes. Thus we are able to see an object because of light being reflected from the object. That means what it is meaning means. Now we are able to see objects. How we are able to see the objects means, so when light falls on the object, some of the light will be reflected back. So from the reflected rays, some of the rays will reach our eyes. So when the light fallen on the object and make it visible, when the reflected rays reaches our eyes, then only we can see that object. So now you imagine, if there is no rays reflected, that means there is no incident rays, then we are not able to see the object. Okay, so light is a form of energy and we are able to see with the help of them. So reflection of light. What is mean by reflection of light? When light falls on a shiny surface, most of it bounces back. This phenomenon is called reflection of light. That means when light falls on the shining objects, shining bodies, most of the light will be bounced back. So this bouncing of back of this light is known as, or this phenomenon is known as reflection of light. Then coming to next, laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. First law is the incident ray, the reflecting ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Carefully watch this diagram. Okay, first diagram. Okay, so this is mirror, this is object, that means this is the incident ray, here is the object. Okay, from here light rays will travel to here and will hit the mirror, and from here it will reach to, that means what will happen, it will reflect back and it will reach to our eye, or it will reach here. So from here this ray is instant ray because it is instant, take place from the object and will instant on the mirror. From here one ray take, or that means one ray will originate, that one is reflected ray. Okay, so from the point of incidence, that means this is known as the point of incidence, where the instant ray meets the mirror is known as point of incident. So from here if you draw the 90 degrees, it will give one ray. That means from here you draw a line with 90 degrees, imaginary line. This ray is known as normal. Okay, now we understood what is normal. So first law is stating that incident ray, reflecting ray and normal at the point of incidence all will lie in the same plane. Plane means we knows, that means see here this all is, okay, in front of me one paper is there. Okay, this all is lying in one plane. This side it is second plane, third plane, fourth plane, fifth plane, downside will be sixth plane. So here what it is stating is the incident ray, the reflecting ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Next, second law is angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. Here see incident ray, reflected ray, point of incidence. Okay, so if this one is the normal, if we measure this angle between normal and incident ray, what is the angle? Same angle will be there, normal and reflected ray. So that means what can we say? Angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So next, this is the completion of the two laws. Next, there are two types of reflections are there. That is, one is regular reflection and the second one is irregular reflection. So let's see what is regular reflection and what is irregular reflection. First figure, if we see, carefully observe this first figure. So if we see all the rays, so now this is the mirror and this rays arrow which is stating which is showing in this direction, it is incident rays. Then from the incident ray, if we see outgoing arrows, it is reflected ray. Now what it is showing, see, when all the reflected rays are parallel to each other, that means see, this is one reflected ray, second reflected ray, third reflected ray, 4, 5, 6, 7, let it be anything. If you observe all the reflected rays carefully, not the incident rays, reflected rays, observe carefully, all the reflected rays are parallel to each other. Such type of reflection is known as regular reflection. So this regular reflection, it follows angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and this regular reflection happens from a smooth surface. Example of that is mirror. We can see clear images formed in the case of regular reflection. Now come to the second diagram. So see, forward arrows, that means which is moving towards the mirror, all are parallel. But coming to this reflected rays, which is going away from this mirror, all the rays, they are not parallel, but in case of regular reflection, it is parallel. Now when the reflected rays are not parallel to each other, this case of reflection is called irregular reflection. Irregular reflection happens from a rough surface. The laws of reflection are obeyed in this case as well as, but because of the irregular, sorry, once again I am saying, when the reflected rays are not parallel to each other, this case of reflection is called irregular reflection. Irregular reflection happens from the rough surface. The laws of reflections are obeyed in this case as well, but because of the irregularities of surface, the reflected rays are not parallel to each other. That means this irregular reflection, it will obey laws of reflections, but our one of the laws saying that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, this one will be not obeyed. Why? Means because see here, in first case regular reflection took place from the smooth surface, but here in irregular reflection took place from the rough surface. So due to irregularities in the surface, this irregular reflection takes place. Images formed in this regular reflection, they will be clear. But coming to this irregular reflection, blurred images will be formed in case of irregular reflection. The relative clarity of image depends on the relative smoothness of the reflecting surface. So this is the completion of regular and irregular reflections. Now coming to the multiple images. When two or more mirrors are placed at some angles to each other, we get multiple images. See, let us take an example in which two mirrors are placed opposite to each other. If an object is placed between them, its image is formed in both the mirrors. The image in one mirror would act as an object for another mirror, and this sequence would continue. This will result in the formation of multiple images. For this, we can say one more example. In case of barber shop, in front of us will be one mirror will be there, back to us will be another mirror will be there. So our face, what will happen? Our back we can see. So how can we see? Means first from the object, image will be formed on the mirror. That means mirror 1, backside 1. From there, again it will be reflected to the front mirror 2. That means now this back mirror, that mirror which is situated to our back, it will act as the source. From there, image will be reflected to the front mirror. Like this, multiple images will form and continuation will take place. That means for the formation of the images. So number of images formed depends on the angle between the two mirrors. This can be calculated by using the following formula. What is the formula? Is number of images equal to 360 degrees divided by angle minus 1. So this is the completion of regular reflections and multiple images, how the multiple images are formed. And once again I am saying the formula. To calculate the number of images formed, it formula is given by 360 degrees divided by angle minus 1. That means what is this angle saying means, so the angle between the object and the mirror, what the angle is there, that angle 360 degrees divided by that angle minus 1 will give the number of images. So for example, if you see, if the given mirrors are at right angles to each other, 3 images will be formed. If the given mirrors are at 30 degrees, we can get 11 images. When the mirrors are kept opposite and parallel to each other, there would be infinite number of images formed. So this is completion. Now let's see structure of human eye. Eyes are the sense organs which gives us the sense of vision. The human eye is almost spherical in shape, and so this is the structure of the human eye. So let's come to the parts. Cornea. The eyeball is covered with a tough layer. This layer is transparent on the front. This transparent portion is called cornea. Here see, so this front part, so it is covered with a tough layer, and this layer is transparent portion. So this transparent portion is known as cornea. So next, behind to this is iris. So iris, what is iris is? Iris is a thin circular surface, iris is a thin circular structure. It works like a shutter of the camera. It controls the amount of light entering the eye. The color of iris imparts distinct color of the eye of an individual. Okay, here see, this part is known as cornea. Behind cornea, here we can see two structures, muscular structures. This muscular structures is known as cornea, and this cornea, what is the function of this cornea is, it controls the amount of light entering into the eye, and not only that, it imparts the distinct color to the eyes of an individual. So person with blue iris has blue eyes. Next part is pupil. There is a hole in the center of iris. This hole is called, or this is called, pupil. Light enters the eye through the pupil. When the light is bright, iris contracts and thus allows less light into the eye. When the light is dim, iris dilates and thus allows more light into the eye. So what is pupil part is, let's see. So this front part, it is known as cornea, and this part is known as iris, and the gap between this iris, this is one iris, this is second, that means both the iris, only one iris is there. Okay, this is one part and this is second part. So the gap between these two iris, it is known as pupil. So next part, and this pupil will allow the, so next part is lens. Lens is present behind the pupil. The lens in the human eye is convex lens. The size and thickness of the lens changes as per the distance of an object. So here see, so this part is cornea, iris, and the gap between the iris is called pupil, and this pupil is covered by with lens. So the lens which is present in human eye is, it is convex lens, and the size of this convex lens, it depends on the distance between the object and the eye, that means size of the pupil. Next is retina. Retina is at back of the eye and marks the inner layer of the eyeball. Images are formed on the retina and thus it works like a screen. There are photosensitive cells in the retina. These cells are of two types, which are as follows. That is, one is cone cells. The cone cells are sensitive to bright light. They also give the sense of color. Rod cells. The rod cells are sensitive to dim light. Next part is optic nerve. The optic nerve emerges from the back of the eyeball. This nerve goes to the brain. Next part is blind spot. The junction of retina and optic nerve is called blind spot. There is no photosensitive cells at this spot and hence No image is formed at this spot on the retina. Persistence of vision. Once again, all the parts I am showing in this image. See here, front side transparent layer is known as cornea. Behind cornea I am having iris. The gap between iris is known as pupil, and pupil is covered with lens. The lens present in human eye is convex lens. So coming to the back side, here back side it is known as retina, and this retina is joined to the optic nerves, this nerves which carries the information to the brain, and the junction between retina and optic nerve, it is known as blind spot. So in retina it contains photosensitive cells, but in case of blind spot there is no photosensitive cells. That means we can say that photosensitive cells are absent. So persistence of vision. So what is the persistence of vision is? An image stays on the retina for about 1/16th of a second. This feature is called persistence of vision. Due to this, when many still images are shown in a sequence, they give the illusion of moving images. Movies and animations are made by exploiting this property of the human eye. So this the image which is formed on the retina, it can stay for the time 1/16th of a second. If it is more than that, what will happen? Not more than that. If it is above that, we can see, or we will get an illusion that object is moving. So care of eyes. Eyes are very important organ and they are sensitive too. So proper care of eyes is very important. Some tips for care of eyes are: do not read in too bright or dim light. Do not look directly at the bright object or at the sun. Do not keep the book too close to your eyes. While reading, don't keep the book too far either. If something gets into the eye, do not rub the eye. Wash it with cold water. In case of any problem like itching or burning sensation, consult an ophthalmologist. Who is ophthalmologist? Eye doctor. Okay, ophthalmologist. A doctor who specializes in disease of eyes is called ophthalmologist. Next topic is vision defects. So what are the vision defects is? Some of the vision defects are as follows. That is, vision defects are myopia. A person suffering from myopia finds it difficult to see a distinct object. This disease is also called short-sightedness or nearsightedness. Spectacles with suitable lenses can improve the vision in a myopic person. Hypermetropia. A person suffering from hypermetropia finds it difficult to see a nearby object. This disease is also called long-sightedness. Spectacles with suitable lenses can improve the vision in a hypermetropic person. Cataract. The cornea becomes cloudy in a cataract patient, and thus a person cannot see clearly. Cataract is treated by surgery. In cataract surgery, the cornea is cleaned and an artificial lens is transplanted in the eye. So how visually challenged persons can see, that means blind persons. Some people face with disability of vision. This disability can be partial or complete. Such persons are called visually challenged persons. For a visually challenged person, life can be very difficult. These people usually show a marked development of other senses like the sense of hearing and sense of touch. Many aids have been devised to make their life easy. They can be hearing and sense of touch. They can be divided into two categories. that is optical and non-optical. So what are optical aids? Optical aids can help a person who is partially visually challenged. These aids can enlarge an image or a text so that they could be visible. TV monitors, magnifying devices, and telescopic devices come under this category. Non-optical aids. Non-optical aids are helpful for a person who is completely visually challenged. These aids really rely on the senses of hearing and touch. Aids which rely on the senses of touch are called tactile aids. Tactile buttons on the pedestrian light and in public transport are examples of tactile aids. Tactile strips at the edge of platforms are also meant for visually challenged persons. Louis Braille was born in the year 1809 in France. He became blind during early childhood because of an accident. He developed the Braille script in 1824. Braille script. What is Braille script is? The Braille scripts are written in the form of raised dots. This system is composed of 63 characters. Our alphabet is not 63, okay? Not 63. This system is composed of 63 characters. Each character is written on a grid of 6 cells. This can be written with the help of Braille slate or Braille slate and stylus. A reader needs to touch the Braille script to read it. And this is the completion of our lesson, light.